Okay, for these toppers, even for the ones that we're doing a combination of Elmo's World and some of the Sesame Street characters. So I'll show you how I did this. These were easy and I painted on the black. These I had to roll little sausages and form letters. And I freehand cut the fish out and then textured them with fondant tools. Okay, so we're gonna make Big Bird. Fluted, scalloped, okay, frilled, okay. Well, I picked this size, and I don't know what size that is, but I thought it was a perfect size for a cupcake. Yes. Okay, so we'll roll out some yellow fondant. Okay, not too thin. You want it to be a little bit meaty. So using one of my, I'll do 2 right now so I can show you some other things. Okay, easy enough. Okay, so you can roll out a bunch of yellow and then make all of your, cuts at once. Yes, I make LMF, Liz Merrick fondant. You can just Google LMF fondant and it'll pop up. I promise you, it's that popular. Pro Art color applicators. I got them off of Google, but you can use the latest ones that everybody's craving about. Someone tell me the name of those. They're very similar. No, I don't use Tylose on my toppers. I just do them well in advance and let them harden because they're meant to be eaten. Sugar shapers, thank you. You can use sugar shapers, but I don't have any. I have these. But no, I don't use Tylose in my toppers or in my fondant unless I want it to be like a figure and I want it to be really, really hard. Yes, Innovative Sugars Works sells them. Okay, so to make the little holes, I use the pointy rubber end here, and it's so easy, you guys. Can you see that? And you don't have to worry about using like a little, like one of your piping tips, because what happens is you have to, it really just, to me, it really distorts the cut, and then you got a buildup of fondant all in there. So this, you just push the holes in. So easy, quick, cute, and done. So that's how you do that. Easy. Okay. Now for Big Bird. Big Bird is a little bit more detailed because you have all these different colors. So to make the beak, I'm rolling a ball of fondant, and then I'm going to roll it into like a cone shape. Like, that's maybe too pointy, hold on. So rolling it into a cone shape. I'm gonna use a little bit of cornstarch. Okay, so I have my little cone shape right here, right? Have a little bit of cornstarch on my finger, and I'm just going to press it down and sort of bring to the point. Press, and I'm using my fingers. Okay, so you're gonna do that twice, taking a little bit of red, taking a little ball of it, making it into a cone shape, little bit of cornstarch on my finger, and I am making the inner part of his beak. Okay, a little bit of water, and lay that right on top. So do it again for the top. Okay, so pick which one is going to be the bottom of his beak. So we'll make that one his bottom of his beak. And you're gonna roll out some pink, and you're gonna do the same thing. This time you're gonna use a very tiny piece of pink. Roll it into a little ball, make it into a cone. Thanks for the hearts, guys. Flatten it out. Place it on top, a little bit of water. Always good to have a palette knife. It helps you pick things up. Lay that on top. And that's, I'm gonna put a little bit of water here in the middle. And I'm gonna lay his bottom beak on. I'm going to put a little bit of water on the back side of his beak and then a little bit on the top. And I'm going to stand up the other beak and careful kind of smash it a little bit into so it sticks. And then I'm just sort of forming the beak down like that. So I'm going to keep my white fondant fairly thick. Sorry, I missed a comment. Fairly thick like that. I'm going to use some plastic wrap. And I use plastic wrap for a couple of reasons. One, I want, whenever I make cuts, you know, the cuts always come up in, if I don't have plastic. The plastic keeps whatever I cut down. It also rounds off the ends or the edges. However, I'm really just doing these cuts now because I want to have the same size eyeball. So I put plastic wrap over a thicker piece of white fondant, and I'm gonna use my small cutter. Actually, I'm gonna use this size. And I'm gonna make 2 cuts. I think I need it to be a little bit bigger. So I'll grab one of my piping tips. This is piping tip, magic tip 3-point. Oh. And I'm gonna make 2 of those just because I want to add to it. Oh, that came through my. So now I have equal size balls here, or cuts. So I'm gonna add 1 small one to 1 big one like that. And I'm going to roll them together. That way I know they're equal in size. Okay, so now I have my 2 balls there. Okay, so I'm gonna set those aside. So I'm gonna roll out just a little piece of pink fondant. And I'm gonna roll this fairly thin. Like so. Get my plastic wrap back. And I'm going to take a small cutter. I just need 1 right now. So I'm going to half this. And my fondant is kind of sticky. So take it in my hand. I want to sort of smooth out the edges. So I'm taking one of my eyeballs and brushing it, just the back side, and I'm just folding over half of the lid, like so. Try my best not to distort the eyeball too much. Okay, so I have my, so now what I'm gonna do, I have my rolled out purple. I'm gonna go with a larger cutter. And I just need 1 because I'm gonna half it. Okay, so it has some jaggedy edges. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I just want to sort of tap those edges clean. Again, I'm gonna half this, cut this in half. Okay. Now I am gonna sort of like press it a little bit to sort of widen it, and then wetting the back side of my eyeball, and then placing the purple around and folding it under, like so. So I have a little bit of black, and I'm just gonna eyeball 2 little pieces, 2 black eyeballs about the same size, and I'm going to roll them, leave them down, position my eyeball so I can see them, put a little bit of water where I want them to go, place where I want the eyeball to go, and then sort of press it, my fingers are in the way, press it down. And they might be a little bit too big, but they'll be good enough. And then a little bit of water right behind his back beak. And place his eyeballs where they look cute. This is when you can sort of cheat and form, make sure they're rounded. And there he is, Big Bird. Elmo was really easy to make. All you had to do was, yeah, they look great, right? Cut out using a flute, cut out some black. I used a larger cutter for the black. So I cut out a round for the black, and then instead of cutting it at half, I cut it like a little bit less than half. So his mouth was smaller. I did the same thing with the eyeballs. I believe I used this cutter in my plastic wrap, and I think for the, again, it was just like an assembly line process. I did all of the eyes at once. I did all of the pupils at once. I cut out that for the black pupils, and then I rolled some orange fondant for the nose. Done. He was easy too. I cut out a circle for his cookie. Oh, for his mouth, I went with a larger cutter and I cut it directly in half because his mouth is larger. And then for the cookie, I think I used this, and then I used the smallest fluted cutter I had to cut out the, like he took a bite. And I used a little paintbrush and some black food coloring to make the chocolate chips. The crayons were very easy. I'll show you guys a crayon. I'll use this yellow. So you just roll some yellow, or whatever colors you're using. You roll into a sausage or a snake to about the width that you want it to, that you think looks nice. Or fits sort of like the dimensions of your cake or toppers. So these are kind of skinny-ish. Okay, so that's that. You know, make sure it looks sort of even. All right, so I could get like 2 or 3 out of here. So I'm just gonna use that as a guide. Make a cut. So make a ball, okay? And between your fingers, can't show you, between your fingers, you're going to make a point. A little bit of water. Yes, this is fondant. Because these are going on cupcakes for kids. They want to eat it. So now what I'm doing is I'm placing one on the end like that. Okay? Take some, so you take a little black. So I'm just creating that center with black gel. And you're just making it as wide. And then all I did was paint along. And I didn't even like go all the way around. I left it on my board because you're not going to see the backside, so why worry about the backside? Okay, so that's all I'm doing. I just go to where I can see it. Okay, so that's that. And then you just leave them alone, you guys, because you gotta let this paint, the gel colors dry and the fondant to dry, and then they become easy to manage. Okay, and then all I did was cut out white, use my little doodad thingy, made the holes, cut out a little bit of blue, did the same thing, and then glued them with water across, and now they're dry. See, it's been dry, and now they're ready to just go on fresh buttercream on the cupcakes.